When I came into television, I remember being interviewed, and I pointed out that I was available, and they said, "Oh, are you? Oh, really?" And I said, "Yep." I said, "For what exactly?" I said, "Producer." And I think I was about 10 years old, or 19 or something. And so they said, "Well, what about editing?" And I thought, that'd be fine. Because really, editing is the place you learn about structure, you learn about story, you learn about pacing, you learn all of those. That's really, for me, in many ways, the heart of filmmaking. So it gave me an opportunity to spend 5 years learning about, and that, that's from everything from news through to local current affairs, through to other sorts of programs. So to learn about the craft of storytelling. And, that led me into directing and then producing. But editing is still, at my advanced stage, still the thing I love the most. I love spending time in editing because that's where a film really comes to life. And the thing I dislike most about filmmaking is shooting. It's so slow and it's hard work and things go wrong, and you need a particular sort of. I love directing if it was only faster, but it's editing that I really love. It was always recorded at the weekends. You would do 2 weeks' worth in 2 days. So there was a team of people working on the letters, selecting the actual panellists. It was just an incredibly well-oiled machine, and it was terrific because it had an honesty and it had a resonance, and it was, I think it also had a strange dignity about it. The panellists were quite carefully chosen, They weren't chosen for their celebrity status. They were chosen because they were intelligent and they may have something positive to contribute. So it was a little different than some of these modern equivalents, but time moves on. That's one of the programs that I lament its passing because it was incredibly popular. Because it really did give children an understanding of the world around them. And I'm not talking about the exotic world, I'm talking about the back garden. And somebody once asked me, what do you have to achieve with that? And I said, look, if a child looks at a bug on a pavement and goes, "Oh, wow, I saw one of those, I know what it is," as opposed to squashing it, then it's been a success. And children have an innate curiosity. And I used to talk about, you watch children at a beach or at a park, they get out of the car and they run around and they're exploring and they're looking under things and digging things and they're finding things. And that's the world that you had to take them into. That was the thing you tapped into. The Wild Track book, when it was published, the first one, was the biggest selling children's book in New Zealand to date when it was published. We've sort of abandoned a lot of that because I was once told by some important people in television New Zealand that, people don't want to think when they're watching television, they just want to relax. And you go, well, and this pervades to this day. Prevails to this day, and you go, well, tell me why Discovery is so successful, and Nat Geo and the Science Channel and the Animal Planet and the History Channel. So something doesn't stack up here. So anyway, I think Wild Track was really, and I was sad when that went off because it denied a window on our place to a generation. Wild South was really a journey for New Zealanders into the extraordinary, the very, very special wildlife, flora and fauna that we had, and some of the incredible plights. These animals and these birds were right at the edge, kakapo, right at the edge, takahe, right at the edge. So it was this fight and this work, the Chatham Island Black Robin. That was we made 3 films on the Chatham Islands, and that really caught New Zealand. It was extraordinary, the response to that film. You came down to 1 female, and it was remarkable. And if you could turn around the Chatham Islands Black Robin, you could turn around anything. And New Zealand led the world in this. When Wild South started off, there were probably 2 or 3 books on the New Zealand natural history. Now there are thousands or hundreds. And I think it's about all of us. Every New Zealander loves learning about the place that they live in, about the greatest forests on earth, the dinosaur forest, the mountains, and the remarkable animals that we have in this country and its history. It's a fascinating country. And I think people are really interested in the world around them. This really had substance, but it wasn't aimed at intellectuals, it was just aimed at Kiwis. And it became really iconic. And I think it's a great sadness that it didn't endure, but in the quest to be commercial and smart and hip, driven by ad agencies in Auckland, you know, all of that was brushed aside, and that's sad. David's one of those people that was really walking the walk. Yeah. He believed passionately in conservation. He gave his life to it. And Bellamy was fascinated by New Zealand. And Noah's Ark, the journey of Noah's Ark was terrific, but the hard thing was to work out how to do it. And that took a lot of sort of pulling through, because we all wanted to be really significant and serious and meaningful, but it turned into a very, very different show, and Pete Hayden was really very part of that. And it used humour and surprise, and it really revealed New Zealand in a way. And I remember him talking about volcanoes, and he was on the ferry and he had a pie with tomato sauce with the magma, and he's squeezing the pie, and just all of these illustrations. One of the great ones that I like, he was talking about New Zealand houses, and he's looking around the house, and he said, but they do very weird things in New Zealand with houses. And he opened the door, and there was the world going past, because he was on a house removal truck, and there's just little things through it, and humour. You know, it was a lovely, lovely series. And it still stands up, because it's about our place. To this day, it has been very hands-off, very supportive. For example, capital expenditure under the Television New Zealand, 3 years of writing reports and endless requests to the board, nothing. Capital expenditure with Fox, first of all, had to all be on one page. And I said, we can't fit it on one page. And they said, well, a page and a half. And it was approved within days. They'd go through it, very, very meticulous. They knew what they were looking at. That's a good buy, you're paying too much for that. Yep, that's fine, we understand the strategy, bing, done. And that's been the way it is. None of our productions are approved or greenlit. We're given total freedom. But we've got to run a profitable company. Is it hugely profitable? No. It's, you know, no one gets rich in documentary, no one. So it's marginally profitable. We're making shows for Nat Geo, which Fox also own. Not many people know that. Both the US and the international channels, they have controlling stakes in them. But we also make a lot for Discovery, which is a competitor. So we're given total freedom. And the president of Fox International Channels, who we sit under at the moment, you know, I don't think I've worked for anybody that's as amusing and as interesting. He calls me Baldrick and he's Adder. You know, so it's that sort of relationship. But very smart people, you know, no time for sort of endless reports. My job is, you know, a bit like a gardener, is to run around and just tend the soil. And if you get the mix in the company right, everything after that is wonderful. You create a climate in which people can really excel. That's all you do. And it's not about me being better or best or whatever, it's just that climate. And I've often said that individually we're pretty good, collectively we can be unstoppable. I remember my mother saying to me that when I was young, you inherited a planet, not a country. And so, you know, the stuff that we're doing on evolution and the stuff we're doing on dinosaurs, and it's just, I just find it really, really interesting. And I think that that's coming back to the fundamentals of this. We're storytellers, and our job is to find ways of engaging and exciting and stimulating and taking people into worlds and on journeys that are both unexpected and surprising.